From 12 News, this is Newsmakers.
Welcome to Newsmakers. I'm Tim White. Ted Nesi is off this week. The Target 12 investigators have been looking back at the Providence riot 1 year later on June 1st, 2020, days after peaceful protests sparked by the murder of George Floyd. Providence descended into chaos. Hundreds of rioters smashed their way into the Providence Place Mall, clashed with police, and a cruiser went up in flames. This week, I sit down with the two leaders of the Providence Police Department to reflect on that night and discuss lessons learned. Commissioner Colonel, thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. Colonel, when you think about that night, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
June 1st was an eerie night. When I recall arriving on the scene in the hours upon arrival, there was yelling, screaming, bottles breaking, alarms going off. You could hear flares being shot into the air, fireworks. It was an eerie night. It was a dark moment in the city of Providence. And
how about you, Commissioner? June 1st, going into June 2nd, I should say. What comes to your mind?
Yeah, when I first arrived, there were several hundred outside the mall, and they were young, and they were white, and there was hatred and anger towards society, that they wanted to go in to the mall and do something. A revolution is what these young kids were calling for. It baffled me why they were so either angry and what is it they're trying to change and revolt from. And so when you have, several hundred and 1,000 of these people here, we need to call in resources pretty quickly because we were overwhelmed by the numbers, and we were able to pull from mutual aid departments across the state, calling in our folks as well. And then it lasted throughout the night, just senseless vandalism and violence that was perplexing to me. What is it that they want to change in America? And what is the cause? Was something that I was thinking at the time and still think about. What is it that they're trying to do here? Burn down the city of Providence for what?
I want to get into that a little bit more later in the conversation, but I'll be candid with you, Commissioner. That's not the answer I was expecting out of you when I asked, what do you think about what first comes to mind with June 1st? I thought you might say when someone threw a brick through the window of my cruiser. That happened that night, right?
It did.
What was that moment like?
Look, I was more concerned with getting enough resources, on the street to protect property and protect life. Yeah, it was disturbing that our police officers were getting bricks thrown at them. The colonel and I were there, smashing at our feet, and we have officers out there, and bricks and debris were being thrown at them for no reason. I get the temperament of the country.
Yeah, some people might disagree with the no reason part of that.
No, I understand that, and I get that, and the climate we were in, I'm not naive to that, but the bigger picture of what is it that you'd like to change, even if you wanted to abolish the police, this isn't the way of going about it.
Do you still have the brick?
I do.
What do you think about when you see it? And why did you keep it?
So the reason I kept it is because it went through my back windshield, and it remained in the back of the car. I didn't know it was there. They replaced the windshield, and a couple weeks later I see the brick was still there.
Are you kidding?
And so I put it on my desk as a reminder of that night and how angry people were at police.
Colonel, usually with any big event, the department conducts an after-action report. It really reflects on how the department responded, what led up to it, and all that. Did that assessment happen with June 1st?
It did. And as is typical, assessments are made after major events, and we find gaps in maybe a response or a policy or equipment or training on whatever the event is. So certainly that's always something that we do after a major event, and it did occur here as well.
And what kind of lesson did the department learn from that? You know, we don't have to go through all the findings of the after-action report, but was there something that stood out to you in terms of a finding or a lesson?
There were many. I mean, and since that event, we've had probably over 60 plus demonstrations, rallies, protests. Some have been contentious, some have been riotous. So with that event, we learned to prepare ourselves better for, look, our underlying mission is the safety to protect life and property in this community, and that includes the police officers from Providence who serve this community. And one of the inequities was a shield that goes on our helmets was not compatible. So since then, we've rectified that, and we have shields on for the members of the Special Response Unit and the Mobile Field Force Unit to protect them from bricks, bottles, rocks, flares, fireworks, training. We developed and have always had a great relationship with the Boston Police, and they have seen some events different or before we did. And so I think it was important to communicate every step of the way and try to stay ahead of what might come to Providence. So that after action and those reviews after the fact have been helpful this past year for what we've seen and what might come. And I have to say, you know, the Providence Police Department, the members, the men and women are resilient, they're adaptive, and we're resolved to keeping this community safe.
So just want to be clear in the first part of that. So you had shields that didn't fit the helmets at the time?
Correct.
And so you couldn't use them that night?
Correct.
Okay. Any specific policy changes that stand out to you, if there were any policy changes that came out of June 1st?
You know, we had some intelligence about protests and also a potential event. We got through the day with it not happening, and then there was like a flash mob of 300 to 400 kids. I say they're young adults, and all of a sudden, you know, they want to take the Providence Place Mall. And so intelligence is really important, and to assess that intelligence is really important as well. We were a bit flat-footed, although we had a dozen or two Providence police officers held over and prepared, but at 11 o'clock, 11:30, when you have 300 or 400 people and they're going to storm the Providence Place Mall or any facility, you need to be ready with more than a couple dozen.
You used the term flat-footed, and I'm interested in this part of it. Was there a lack of intelligence by the department knowing what was coming, or was it not adequately preparing for the intelligence? How were you caught flat-footed?
I think, you know, we didn't have specific information about this specific group. We had some information on a regional basis that there were a group of people from out of state that was traveling and looking to do this kind of thing.
Did that turn out to be true?
It did not. It did not. And we were conversing with the Mass State Police and Rhode Island State Police as well. That didn't turn out to be true, because we know that the 65 people that we arrested, all but 5 were from the state of Rhode Island, and half were from Providence. So that didn't happen. When I say flat-footed, look, when you have a dozen or 15 police officers, and you got 300 or 400 people that were looking to escalate the violence, that's flat-footed. And you know, we can't gear up for 100 officers and sustain that for weeks on end. So flat-footed in the sense that we had to react. Now we understood what they were trying to do, and they did breach the Providence Place Mall. Look, you know, that information we shared with the Providence Place Mall, and they shut down at 8 o'clock that night. We thought, you know, that was secure, and they weren't going to try to breach the Providence Place Mall, but they did, and we had to respond by bringing more people in.
You know, we know it wasn't primarily out-of-state actors, as the commissioner said. At least of those arrested, only 5 were out of state. Who was it, Colonel? Who did anyone organize this, or did it just sort of happen in a violent, organic way, in your mind?
That was the word I would have used. It did happen in a quick and organic way, and we've seen that from that moment until now around the country. And we get information and intelligence all the time and act upon as best we can that intelligence. And as you know, the Halloween event, the Purge, we get up extremely strong for that event, and nothing occurred. And we've had several like that. So, you know, when it happens, it's like, which one is going to be real? So we had intelligence, we had spotty information, and what we've seen around the country is there may be large groups of young men and women who attend these demonstrations, rallies, and then there's a very small segment or smaller set within that group that is intent on causing destruction, vandalism, violence, mayhem, chaos within that group. And that's what we saw that night. There was prodding by a small group to enter the mall, and then the mob mentality took over, and that's how they ended up entering the mall. But generally, it's usually a smaller group, and we've seen it since then with many of our protests right outside this building, where there's a large group who are there peacefully demonstrating, exercising their right, and within that group there's a smaller group, and you can see them as they're moving around with their backpacks, their intent on causing harm to the police. They may have items in their bags that they're ready to hurl and cause damage to property or to human beings, and that's their intent.
One of the lessons, it sounds like, is going back to an earlier question that came out of this, is it seems whatever intelligence you get, you guys are now really ramping up. Particularly, you pointed out the Halloween, a thing that never materialized, but you were quote unquote ready. That in context, in hindsight, is always 20/20. Do you feel like you let the city down on June 1st because of what happened and maybe not responding to the intelligence that you had going into that night?
Absolutely not. In fact, the opposite. I think but for the leadership, the brave actions of the men and women of the Providence Police Department, I think the city of Providence would have looked considerably different the next morning in the days to come.
It could have been worse, is what you're saying.
Way worse. And you saw around the country in cities that I won't mention where that did occur. And it not only occurred on that date, but for the days and weeks and months, and maybe still continue to this day. On that night, the leadership of these smaller units that were actively involved in that chaotic scene of mayhem, there was great leadership in the brave actions. You know, 65 arrests in a matter of a short span of time, and quick control by 4 a.m. The event began about 10 or 10:30 with a large, peaceful demonstration, and by 11:30, midnight, it turned into a smaller group overrunning and taking over the mall. And then from there, it was chaos. It was chaos for several hours, and by 4 a.m., after the police action, it was over.
One of the people that was arrested but charged federally is a young man who is going to be sentenced in June for torching one of your police cruisers. What should be his punishment, Commissioner?
Obviously, the court will sentence that young man. Look, the colonel and I were there, and that was symbolic for them and aggravating for our police officers. They just had greater numbers than we had for us to protect that patrol vehicle, and it wasn't worth somebody getting hurt over. And that was a tough decision, but it was made on the ground, let the car go. It wasn't a popular decision because our Providence police officers wanted to protect that vehicle. And it wasn't worth getting someone hurt, one of us or somebody in the crowd as a result, because I knew it turned physical if we attempted to do it.
Commissioner, how would you describe the department's relationship right now with the black and brown community of this city?
Good.
Would they have the same assessment?
You'd have to ask them. I know we have a good relationship with our community. There are pockets of those that I'm sure hate the police, want the police to be abolished. You'll always have a percentage of those folks. But we've always, in my opinion, enjoyed, and I think that's what makes a difference throughout the country, that we have a respectful relationship with our African American and our minority community, despite the struggles that we face as a police profession. But I think it's good. I think it can improve as well. And there's some younger people of color that perhaps we need to reach out to and have a better relationship with, because some of them want nothing to do with the police, and that's troublesome, because when you have that sentiment in our community, we're there to help and serve and protect, and they believe we're there to harass.
Mm. We were talking a little bit earlier just about the why behind June 1st. And look, you've heard from them. There are people who, I guess the word is, understand why violence erupted and erupts out of protests, not just on June 1st, but other nights in other parts of the country. You know, and they'll say, after decades of oppression, particularly at the hands of law enforcement, in their view, that frustration comes out and it turns into lighting a cruiser on fire, and it turns into smashing windows. Do you think, when you look at it through that prism, that the police bear any responsibility for what happened on June 1st?
No, I don't. I can see out of their lens. Floyd happened. We had some other, use of force throughout the country that were horrific. And we denounced publicly the Floyd use of force with Chauvin. And we've denounced other, uses of force that we see, and it makes us cringe as police officers that this would happen. But I understand the pain and the emotion with people of color when they see that either locally or they see that nationally, and it brings back, this is how they've been treated for decades, and their family and friends as well. So I can understand that and see that from their lens, but I also know that in my decades in this profession, we have come a long way with the treatment of everyone, and we have a ways to go, and that's on us to lead that as a profession. And we're attempting, and will continue to attempt to improve that, so regardless of your skin and ethnicity and race, and that everyone's treated with respect.
Do you see it getting better in terms of events like June 1st, mindful that we're going into another summer here? Or is this the new reality, that every once in a while these tensions between law enforcement and the community are going to flare up, and we're going to see events like we saw on June 1st?
So that part of the future is unknown, but I will say that certainly during the past year, 2020 was a challenging year with the pandemic, with the civil unrest. And you're right, police officers here and around the country, I speak to colleagues regionally, nationally, often. And police officers were deflated, demoralized. But as I sit here now, I see light at the end of the tunnel. I am optimistic. They're certainly here in our role here in Providence. We're grateful for the relationships that we have in the community. I'm out and about quite a bit in the community, and the community, by and large, completely support the Providence Police Department, and we have great relationships. However, we understand, in those voices who are anti-police haven't fallen on deaf ears, and we're constantly critically reviewing what we could do better. We respond to hundreds of thousands of calls a year, and the men and women of Providence Police are very professional, very compassionate. Even this past week, you've heard of a couple of highlight calls that we've had, very compassionate in their response in the community. Are we perfect? No. Should we be held accountable? Yes. Should we be transparent? Yes. And we are. And it doesn't mean going forward every event will be perfect. But I will say, with those high volume of calls and wide array of types of calls that we respond to, we do a really good job. And I think the record, again, our record speaks for itself. In those tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of calls in the last couple of years, there may be a couple that are called into question. And it's our responsibility to hold our people accountable.
You know, that's true, but I think a challenge for you, Colonel, is you're looking at just the hundreds of thousands of calls by the Providence Police Department. You have to also respond and react to a call that goes bad in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is what happened clearly on June 1st. Are those types of things that happen nationally the stuff that keeps you up at night?
Absolutely. And it's happening often around the country where incidents are called into question. And I say it all the time that we live in a global world. So whether it happens in San Jose, California, or New Orleans, we're being questioned as a profession, as police leaders in our own communities, whether it's in the Northeast or Northwest, as to what did happen last night. How would your department maybe handle that differently? What is the record of your department on that particular type of call? So yes, it's global. Everything is social media, and it's put out on a dime around the country, around the world.
I have one other technical question for you both, but before I get there, do you share his optimism, Commissioner, going into, you know, the summer of 2021? Summertime, sometimes things can tick up for your department. Do you share that optimism?
Yeah, I do. Now's the time to lead as a profession. You know, whether you're a rookie police officer or a 28-year veteran. Look, this is a great career. It's chosen. It's not for everyone. You're going to be second guessed and third guessed, particularly now with video and audio. But now is the time to show the character of policing in America. And I am optimistic. 99% of the police officers are good-hearted, good, hard-working women and men that serve honorably. You always have a percentage that go off the rail, and it's our job to get them off the job. So when it is exposed or when they are abusive, they don't represent the badge of the hundreds of thousands across America. So I am optimistic, and now's the time to show the public what we're about and lead this in a way, changing, also being sensitive to and confront the issues that are being brought forward.
You and I have talked in the past about this last question about Leobor and maybe some reform to that statute. Mayor Elorza has called for a full repeal now of Leobor. Do you agree with him?
So I think Leobor needs substantial changing, and I've advocated for that. I've wrote an op-ed piece for some significant change. Look, the police chiefs don't have the authority that they need to have. So if it's an entire repeal or something in between, something substantial needs to happen, and I hope it happens in this session, because it's just not working for us right now.
But it sounds like you are stopping short maybe of going as far as the mayor is saying in terms of full repeal. Look, or you're not there yet.
Yeah, so I mean, it's an option. If there's nothing else, then I agree it needs to be abolished. But I think there's some in between that will serve, the needs. Look, Leobor's been put in place 45 years ago for a reason, and now it's just not serving our profession. And look, it's difficult to make that change. It's, the process, and I understand there's, 35 other states that don't have Leobor. I didn't create Leobor. The General Assembly needs to either repeal it entirely or change it, but it needs some significant changes.
Colonel, do you have an opinion on Leobor?
I do, and I don't believe in full repeal. We ask our men and women in Providence and around the state to go out there and at times do a near impossible job. Is there opportunity for reform? Absolutely. And those voices have been heard. I think this is a good opportunity to really, and I know they are, as we speak, rolling their sleeves up, and there's a lot of conversation as it pertains to reform around the legislation. I like to think, and I know deep in my heart, we have some really good, fair-minded, service-based people who are in this profession, who wear the Providence Police patch, and they're asked to do a near impossible job at times. Can the legislation be reformed? Yes. Repeal, no.
We also sat down with the head of Black Lives Matter. The full report on WPRI.com. This weekend, please take the time to remember those who lost their lives in the service of their country. I want to thank you for watching. I'm Tim White. We'll see you next week on Newsmakers.